Scripture, there is a time of work necessary to complete a vision that God has given us. So the people were out there exploring to see what was there, and they came back with a long report. In verse 26, they give the report. So verse 26 says, "They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses the account. They said, 'We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is the fruit.'" So they knew what God had promised them, and they saw it with their own eyes.
Okay.
So God had spoke to them and said, "Hey, this is what I have for you," and they went and physically saw it.
Okay. Cool.
But then they replied, "But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Enoch there. The Amalekites live in the Negev, the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan." So they saw what God had for them, and then they saw the obstacles between them for what God had for them. And they had a bad report for Moses. And so many times, how many times do we get a word from God, or we have something impressed upon us, and we're like, "Yes, Lord, thank you. I have a vision." Then as soon as we come against one obstacle, two obstacles, we say, whoa, maybe that didn't hear from God. And I think that's one of the biggest, I would say how would I say this, Lord? The biggest downfall of us as humans is we doubt sometimes. We worry too much. Because sometimes we only can see with our natural eyes what's there. And when we see obstacles, naturally we think, maybe that's not the right way. But in verse 30, Caleb, one of the men, had a different report. The Bible says, "Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, 'We should go up and take possession of the land, for we certainly can do it.'" So he had a different outlook on what he saw. And I asked God, why was his outlook different? What was it that gave him the confidence to say, "You know what, we can take that land"? And I went ahead and I looked up the meaning of Caleb. And Caleb, it's a Hebrew name meaning faithful. And Caleb was a faithful man. Caleb was a godly man who had seen the awesome miracles that God had done from the time of them being free from Egypt through the wilderness. And it's so easy for us as people to forget what God has already done in our lives. You know, I've grown up in the church. I've grown up serving the Lord. And I may have not had to go through some struggles that a lot of you have. But you know, even I forget sometimes where I could have been. And you know, we as people sometimes forget where God has taken us from. We may be struggling now, but what about the struggles that you had 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Come on.
The things that you were going through back then,
Yeah.
you didn't see an outcome then. But God somehow provided, God somehow delivered you. Caleb had seen the Red Sea parted. He knew the miracles of deliverance, the power of the sovereign God, and he had seen it with his own eyes. Now the crazy thing is, those same people that were sent with him had seen the same thing. But he never lost sight of what he knows or what he knew God had done for them already. God parted the Red Sea. He provided food for them. He provided direction through the wilderness. And he said, "Hey, we have God on our side. We can do anything because already the impossible had been done and he had seen the impossible done.
Amen. Amen.
He trusted God with all that he was. He was fully invested. And you know, that's one characteristic that Caleb had, was that he was fully invested in God.
Yeah.
And to be a Caleb and not the other guys, that's one of the things we need to do, is be fully invested in God. And it's not easy. But there is a payoff for it. After he said that, in verse 31, they replied again, the same men said, "We can't attack those people. They're stronger than we are." And they spread the word among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, who are the descendants of Enoch. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." So they saw giants. How many times do we see giants in our lives? How many times do we see an obstacle that there's just no way, shape, or form that we can overcome it, and we panic? That was the problem with those people, those scouts that went out, was that they weren't calm, they were panicked. What they saw, the obstacles that they saw in front of them, caused them to be scared and worried and said, "Whoa, there's no way we can do this. Did you see the size of that guy? One of them is 5 of us. They have walls built so high that if we even attempt to try to attack them, they're going to kill us before we even get close. It just doesn't make sense to try and take this over. It just doesn't make sense." But Caleb said, "We can do it." Another thing that was a characteristic of Caleb was he didn't follow the crowd. He knew who he was in God, and he knew who God was. In Psalms 37, verse 4, it says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and it will give you the desires of your heart." Amen. The Lord doesn't impress upon us a vision just to give it to us, to tease us with it. His intention of giving us a vision is for us to see it fulfilled in our lives. Amen. And we all have a different vision. Some of it may be loved ones saved. Some of it may be healing for our body. Some of it may be restoration of family ties or anything like that. Or it could be something else. For me, it was a new car. So, God gives you a vision, not just because he wants to, like I said, tease us with it. Come on. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform or copy the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind into a new person." I like how the New Living Translation says it, though, by changing your thought patterns. That was what Caleb did. He had a different thought pattern than the rest of the Israelites. His thought pattern was God-centered, not world-centered. We as a body of Christ need to be God-centered in our thought pattern.
Yeah. Say that.
Our thought pattern should be, "Lord, how are you going to make a way for this?" It shouldn't be, "Lord, I don't know how you're going to make a way." The Bible says, Jesus said in Mark, and in Luke, and in John, and in Matthew, multiple times, in different various ways, of ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be open unto you, seek and you will find. He has given us an avenue for things to be fulfilled. Caleb had a different thought pattern than the rest of the world. Yes, he did. And because of that, God blessed him. Amen. However, if you look in Joshua 14, verses 6 through 14, he had to wait a little bit for his his promise. So, so many times we see a vision or we're given a vision and we're like, okay, God, make a way. And then we come against obstacles and we're like, okay, we can't do this. And then we take on those obstacles after we realize, you know what? God can do this for me. But one thing that Caleb did, and another characteristic of Caleb, was that he was patient and he waited on the Lord. The Bible says in Joshua chapter 14, verses 6, start reading in verse 6. It says, Now the people of Judah approached Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Jephthah, and